What if love wasn't a game? Imagine a world where love is not treated like a competitive sport, riddled with rules and strategies. In the landscape of modern relationships, many of us seem to enter a battleground armed with expectations and wrapped in the armor of personas that we believe will attract attention. We become players, each adopting roles that may not reflect our true selves, hoping that what we present will yield connection, affection, or approval from others. This game, however, often leads not to intimacy, but to emotional detachment, where misunderstandings thrive and seasons of solitude linger. Let's take a moment to reflect. Are we really connecting with others, or are we creating an illusion of connection? We parade our curated lives on social media, showcasing picturesque moments as if they embody the entirety of our experiences. Yet there are countless feelings, vulnerabilities, fears, and desires lurking just beneath the surface. Alan Watts once described the essence of life as a dance, an unending flow of rhythms and movements, inviting us to explore the depths of our existence. What if, instead of crafting an image aligned with societal expectations, we allowed ourselves to be participants in this dance, moving fluidly with the natural currents of vulnerability? Taking a step back from the game means embracing a state of being, a genuine openness to vulnerability that can deepen connections in ways we often overlook. It's a daunting prospect, isn't it? To peel back the layers of protection and self-constructed barriers that we've built in the name of love. What if, instead of meticulously plotting our next moves in the relationship game, we simply chose to be present? What might happen if we dared to express our true selves, embracing the raw and unfiltered experience of being human? Consider the times you felt compelled to fit a mold, to play a role, and how that impacted your relationships. How many moments have slipped away because we prioritized appearances over authenticity? The truth is, love thrives not in perfection, but in the spaces where we can be genuinely ourselves. Love isn't about winning hearts through clever strategies. It's about crafting connections through authenticity and honesty. Imagine having a conversation with a friend where instead of recounting your accomplishments, you shared a moment of fear or uncertainty. Picture the profound connection that blooms when vulnerability takes center stage. When we bravely expose our insecurities, we extend an invitation for others to do the same. It's this exchange, this willingness to be real, that forges relationships grounded in shared humanity. The game falls away, and in its place is the beautiful chaos of messy interactions that breathe life into our connections. So I invite you to reflect. What if stepping away from the game could deepen your connections? What would it mean for you, for the relationships you cherish, if you chose to show up authentically? The next time you enter a social setting or engage in a conversation, consider allowing your true self to shine through. Embrace the imperfections, the vulnerabilities, and the genuine expressions of who you are. In a world saturated with facades, it's the brave souls willing to step outside the game who often cultivate the most meaningful experiences. What might you discover about yourself and those around you when you shift your perspective from competition to genuine connection? Let's explore this journey together, stepping into the unknown waters of vulnerability and authenticity. As we transition to our next exploration, carry with you the question, what if love isn't a game, but rather an endless dance of connection waiting for you to take the first step? The power of vulnerability is an extraordinary force, often overlooked yet profoundly transformative. In a world that sometimes suggests we should wear a mask to face our daily lives, the act of revealing our true selves can be as liberating as a bird soaring above the clouds. Alan Watts often spoke about the importance of recognizing our interconnectedness with one another and the universe. By allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, we embrace that connection, breaking down the emotional barriers we've painstakingly constructed over time. Think back to a moment when you were open with a friend or loved one, sharing something deeply personal. Perhaps you admitted a fear that had been keeping you awake at night, or unveiled a struggle that made you feel less than perfect. In those moments of honesty, didn't you feel a weight lift? There's a certain magic that unfolds when we embrace our vulnerabilities. It opens doors to deeper understanding and connection. You invite others to join you in this unpolished space, this realm where honest emotion reigns supreme. For example, let's consider two friends, Sarah and Emily. On a casual afternoon, while sipping tea, they decide to share more than the surface-level pleasantries they usually exchange. Sarah opens up about her anxiety regarding an upcoming career change. She feels scared and uncertain about the future, fearing judgment and potential failure. Instead of brushing it off with, "You'll be fine," Emily listens intently. In that moment, Emily finds the courage to reveal her own struggles, her past failures and fears, and the heartbreak that shaped her journey. The room fills with a newfound energy, an unspoken bond weaving them closer together. In acknowledging their imperfections, a safe haven forms where both can be authentic. Isn't it beautiful how vulnerability acts as a bridge, connecting two souls through shared experiences? Moreover, vulnerability paves the way for genuine relationships. It's not about exposing every inch of ourselves. Rather, it's about choosing moments, however small, to let our guard down. It's akin to taking that first step into cool blue waters, nervous yet exhilarated, knowing that true growth lies beyond the initial discomfort. Reflecting on your own life, how many walls are you holding up? How many barriers prevent you from reaching out or letting someone truly see you? Consider the concept of vulnerability as akin to a flower slowly blooming in spring. At first, the buds are tightly closed, afraid of the possible harshness of the world. But with time, warmth, and nurturing, much like our own connections with others, these buds open up, revealing vibrant colors and intricate patterns. When we allow ourselves to bloom, we not only experience inner growth, but invite others to share in that beauty. But why do we hesitate? Often it's fear, the fear of rejection, judgment, or simply being perceived as weak. Yet, what is weakness, really? Is it not in hesitating to share our true selves that we remain stagnant, trapped behind invisible walls? Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to move forward despite it. When we openly embrace our vulnerabilities, we send a clear message. I am human, just like you, creating a reciprocal atmosphere where connection can thrive. I invite you to ponder this. How many walls in your life could come tumbling down if you embraced vulnerability? Begin small. Perhaps share a little of your true self with someone you trust. Share a fear, a dream, or even an amusing mishap. You may be pleasantly surprised by the response. Remember, it's in these moments of vulnerability we tend to find warmth, understanding, and a profound connection that transcends the superficial day-to-day interactions we often settle for. In the grand tapestry of life, each thread of vulnerability adds color and depth to our experiences. Embrace your unique pattern and allow others to see the intricate beauty woven throughout your story. Together, let's move past the game, navigating the rich waters of vulnerability, where authentic relationships are nurtured and love is allowed to flourish. Reflect on these shared truths as we prepare to uncover the dynamic relationship between illusion and reality in our next discussion. How will embracing vulnerability shift your perception of authenticity in your life? Illusion versus reality. The attraction of authenticity is a powerful theme that resonates deeply in our modern lives. Every day, we're bombarded with messages encouraging us to present a polished, curated version of ourselves. Social media feeds overflow with idealized images of filtered reality that can often distort our perceptions of love and connection. It begs the question, how many of us are walking around wearing masks, hiding our true selves behind layers of expectation? At the heart of genuine relationships lies authenticity, and yet it can sometimes feel elusive, overshadowed by societal pressures and the allure of perfection. What if we took a step back and examined the allure of authenticity more closely? Picture a moment in your life, perhaps a gathering where everyone was joyously mingling, yet despite the laughter, something felt slightly off. Maybe it was the distant look in someone's eyes, or that too perfect smile that didn't quite reach the heart. We often gravitate toward the superficial, but our spirits instinctively recognize when something is amiss, when the masks people wear seem thicker than ever. Just like nature, people are drawn to authenticity, as flowers are drawn to sunlight. There's a vibrancy and a richness in being real that illuminates the mundane. Alan Watts beautifully articulated that we are inherently interconnected, and this is where authenticity reigns. It paves the way for much deeper emotional engagements, transcending the facades we often present to the world. Recall the moments when laughter bubbled up unexpectedly, when shared joy arose not from a staged narrative, but from a genuine connection. For instance, the spontaneous joy of sharing stories around a campfire, or the heartfelt stories exchanged among friends over a long lunch. These are where authentic connections thrive. They remind us that behind every laugh, there lies a story, a real human experience. Conversely, the masks we wear can lead us down a path filled with shallow interactions, leaving us feeling disconnected and isolated. Think about it. Are the relationships you cherish founded on authenticity or hidden behind illusions? Perhaps you've encountered someone who, despite being well-liked and seemingly successful, feels profoundly alone because their interactions lack depth and vulnerability. Why is it that the bravest among us often share their flaws, their imperfections, and their raw edges? Because they've realized that authenticity creates a magnetic pull, drawing in others like bees to a blooming flower. Isn't it curious how, as a society, we often celebrate the superficial, yet yearn for the authentic? We idolize influencers who cultivate an air of perfection, but is it not those who bravely demonstrate their flaws, who show us their vulnerabilities, who truly resonate with our humanity? You might ask yourself, is it not true that those who courageously embrace their flaws often find deeper, more meaningful connections? Ask yourself, when was the last time you felt a spark of connection with someone? Was it in a perfectly staged moment, or was it in the raw truth shared amidst laughter, tears, or simply being present with one another? Authenticity breeds a warmth that's undeniably irresistible. It strips away pretense and illuminates our shared humanity. We don't connect through our perfections. We engage through our shared experiences, beautiful in their complexity. As we navigate through life, let's consciously choose authenticity over illusion. Let's cultivate environments and relationships where vulnerability is not only welcomed but celebrated. Allow those around you to witness your genuine self, the messy, imperfect, yet beautifully real version of you. Be that person who sparks a vibrant connection, inviting those you interact with to step into their own authenticity. In preparing for our next exploration, I urge you to reflect. How does authenticity manifest in your daily interactions? What small steps can you take to transition from illusion to reality, allowing authentic connections to flourish? As we move forward, let's ponder the delicate dance between the masks we wear and the genuine selves waiting to be revealed. What new relationships might blossom in the space of truth? Remember, love thrives not in falsehood, but in the beauty of our authentic selves. Let us be willing to reveal our true colors, allowing intimacy to bloom in a world often caught up in the chase for perfection. As we delve deeper into the essence of connection, Let us now explore the significant role that empathy plays in forging authentic relationships. Empathy is the art of stepping into another's shoes, holding space for their experiences, and feeling with them instead of for them. It is not just a principle or a noble sentiment. It is a practice that, when wielded wisely, has the power to transform our interactions. Alan Watts often illustrated the interconnectedness of life. He reminded us that to understand one another fully, we must first recognize our shared humanity. Consider a rainy day spent indoors with a dear friend. As the drops tap softly against the window, you both find comfort in sharing stories of heartache, joy, and everything in between. It's in those moments that empathy thrives. You are not merely listening, you are tuning into their emotional frequency, grasping the nuances of what they're conveying. You might find yourself feeling their sadness resonating within you as if it were your own. This is empathy in action. It's more than an emotional response. It's a willingness to be present, to connect, and to share the weight of another's experience. Imagine if empathy were the guiding principle in all our relationships. Instead of rushing to provide solutions or advice, what if we took a moment to pause and embrace the emotional landscape of the other person? The pressurized anxiety of life can sometimes drown out the fundamental human need for emotional connection. When we learn to listen deeply, to reflect back what we hear, and to validate the feelings we encounter, we not only provide comfort, but also create bonds that withstand the tests of time. Yet, so often, we may confuse empathy with sympathy. Sympathy, while well-meaning, keeps the distance. It feels like an outsider looking in. "I feel sorry for you" is a common phrase, but it doesn't quite encompass the genuine resonance of empathy. Instead, consider shifting the language. Try expressing, "I understand what you're going through." Empathy is about elevation, about elevating someone's voice, feelings, and experiences into a shared understanding. It transforms the narrative from one of isolation to one of connection. Let's explore a practical scenario. Picture a friend who has just gone through a difficult breakup. It's easy to rush in with platitudes like, "There are plenty of fish in the sea," or "You'll find someone better." While these sentiments come from a place of care, they often gloss over the depth of pain the individual may feel. Instead, imagine gently inquiring, "What has this experience felt like for you?" This simple phrase opens the doorway to true connection and invites deeper conversation. You're providing them with the space to share their authentic feelings, sadness, anger, confusion, without judgment. In practicing empathy, we not only validate others, but also empower them to express their thoughts and emotions more transparently. This practice cultivates environments where vulnerability can flourish and where relationships deepened by authentic connection can thrive. As we consider this, pause for a moment and ask yourself, how can I integrate empathy into my relationships more intentionally? How might honoring someone else's experience shift how you cultivate those connections? Perhaps you could take a few moments each day to listen more actively, pushing aside distractions to engage fully. Allow yourself to truly hear their stories, to feel the weight of their truths, and to sit with them in silence when words are insufficient. As we transition to our next exploration, reflect on this. In a world where empathy is so powerful, why do we still often hold back? The act of reaching out, of connecting deeply with someone else's journey, not only enriches their experience, but enhances our understanding of our own emotions and lives. Will you choose to step into that rich soil of empathy, allowing it to grow genuine relationships that withstand the storms of life? It's time to step away from mere existence and toward engagement, because love in its most authentic form requires us to be empathetic beings willing to share in the depth of our human experience. Together, let's embrace the transformative magic of empathy as we venture forward into our next theme, where we will unravel the intricacies of fear and its role in shaping our connections, reminding ourselves how courageously facing our fears can lead us to profound love and fulfillment. Fear is a universal emotion, a thread woven into the fabric of our lives. It can often feel like a shadow that follows us, lurking in the corners and whispering doubts into our minds. Yet, as daunting as fear might seem, it also holds the potential for growth and connection if we courageously face it. In moments of vulnerability, it's vital to acknowledge the powerful role that fear plays in our relationships, both in how we connect with others and how we may unintentionally push them away. Let's take a moment to consider the nature of fear. It's not inherently negative. It's a natural response, a protective mechanism designed to shield us from harm. However, when fear drives our actions in relationships, it can quickly morph into something more insidious. Fear of rejection, of vulnerability, or of being misunderstood often prevents us from embracing intimacy and love. Alan Watts poignantly emphasized that our attempts to avoid fear can lead us to a false sense of safety, ultimately leaving us feeling isolated and alone. Reflect on a time when fear held you back from expressing your true feelings to someone special. Perhaps you hesitated to share your love, fearing a negative response. What if they don't feel the same way? Chances are, in those moments of uncertainty, you might have missed opportunities for deeper connection and growth. If we allow fear to dictate our actions, we risk living in a state of emotional paralysis, trapped by our own thoughts. Instead of retreating into the familiar embrace of fear, let's consider how we can transform it into a catalyst for deeper connections. Envision standing at the edge of a diving board, peering down into the water below. Your heart races, uncertainty floods your mind as you question whether to take the plunge. In that moment, you have a choice: retreat into the comforting arms of fear, or summon the courage to leap into the unknown waters of vulnerability. It is in this leap that you might find freedom, a chance to connect in ways previously thought impossible. When we confront fear head-on, we open the door to authenticity. Imagine engaging in a heart-to-heart conversation instead of skirting around the subject of your feelings or experiences. What if, instead of holding back, you shared your fears openly? I am scared to let you in, or I worry that I might be rejected. By verbalizing your fears, you not only lighten the burden of loneliness, but also invite the other person to share their own insecurities. This exchange becomes a platform for building trust and understanding. Let's look at a shared scenario involving two friends, Mia and Jess. Mia has developed feelings for someone she met recently, but the fear of being rejected is overwhelming. As she confides in Jess, she shares her doubts and her anxiety about pursuing a relationship. Instead of offering surface-level platitudes, Jess reflects on her own fears, how she too has faced rejection and vulnerability. In sharing their fears, they create a space where both feel seen and heard. This shared experience strengthens their bond and encourages Mia to take the leap with newfound courage. As we navigate the complex terrain of relationships, consider this. What would it look like to approach your fears as opportunities for connection rather than barriers? Take a moment to reflect on your own experiences. What fears are guiding or inhibiting your choices? Asking yourself, what is the worst that could happen, can sometimes bring clarity. You might find that the fear of isolation is far greater than the potential for connection. Think practically. How can you turn the tide of fear into a bridge instead of a barrier? The next time you're in a conversation that feels charged with unspoken words, dare to voice what you're feeling. Opening up about your fears might feel vulnerable at first, but it can pave the way for others to respond in kind. In this way, the act of confronting fear cultivates an environment ripe for honest communication and connection. As we prepare to transition into our next exploration, I invite you to carry this question with you. How might embracing our fears enhance the authenticity of our relationships? Does the weight of unexpressed fears pull us down, or can recognizing and voicing them lift us up together? Within this dance lies the potential for deep and meaningful love, one that flourishes when we are brave enough to share our hearts, fears and all. Let's take this journey together, stepping courageously into the unknown, paving the way for authentic and profound connections that resonate deeply with both ourselves and those around us. As we delve into our sixth theme, let's immerse ourselves in the concept of acceptance, specifically self-acceptance and its profound impact on our relationships. Self-acceptance is the practice of embracing who we are in our entirety, our strengths, our flaws, our quirks, and even our insecurities. This journey begins deep within, as Alan Watts often emphasized, urging us to recognize that we are already whole, not a puzzle to be completed. The moment we give ourselves permission to be human, we can invite others to do the same. Consider this. How do you typically greet yourself in the mirror every morning? Is it with kindness, or do you find yourself critiquing every perceived flaw? The practice of self-acceptance often starts with a gentle acknowledgement of our humanity. Try picturing yourself as a tree with both strong branches and gnarled roots. The beauty of a tree lies not only in its sturdiness, but also in its imperfections, perhaps a crooked limb or a scar from a storm. Just as each tree is unique and deserving of respect, so too are we. When we embrace self-acceptance, we cultivate a fertile ground for authentic relationships to thrive. Instead of stepping into a social interaction with a mask or an edited version of ourselves, we begin to present our true selves, messy hair, bloopers, and all. It's in this raw authenticity that genuine connections blossom. For instance, imagine gathering with friends and sharing stories, not just of triumphs, but also of struggles, the times you've stumbled, the moments of self-doubt. By letting them see the full spectrum of your experiences, you encourage others to do the same, creating a safe space for vulnerability. Have you ever noticed how incredibly liberating it can feel to share your flaws with someone? When you admit, I'm figuring things out just like everyone else, there's an unspoken magic in the air, a shared understanding that we are all navigating our unique paths. This kind of connection nourishes and deepens relationships, allowing love to flourish. Alan Watts highlighted that when we stop striving for perfection, we can truly appreciate life's intricate beauty, every twist, turn, and unexpected detour. However, self-acceptance can sometimes feel frightening. It may require us to confront not only our perceived inadequacies, but also the societal standards that dictate how we should feel about ourselves. This is where the power of community comes into play. In a world that often promotes idealized versions of self, wouldn't it be refreshing to seek out friendships and connections that celebrate your true self? Let's think of our own experiences again. How many times have we heard friends share their struggles with confidence, body image, or career paths? It's in these conversations that we can remind one another of our inherent worth. Consider becoming that voice for someone else. Let them know you are enough as you are. Your journey is beautiful, and I admire you for it. When we consciously practice self-acceptance, we inevitably cultivate a ripple effect, inspiring those around us to embrace themselves more fully as well. Self-acceptance is not about relinquishing ambition or striving for improvement. It's about recognizing that growth can exist alongside compassion for ourselves. It's about understanding that making mistakes is part of being human, a lesson we can go back to time and again. Think about the last time you told someone, I'm just a work in progress. Those 4 little words are potent. They invite understanding rather than criticism. Now, as we prepare for our final segment, take a moment to reflect on these questions. What does self-acceptance mean to you? How can embracing your own authenticity pave the way for deeper connections with others? Will you allow your vulnerabilities to transform into points of connection instead of shame? The journey of self-acceptance is not always linear, and it will require patience and kindness toward ourselves. As we wrap up this exploration, let's commit to nurturing that inner dialogue, that self-compassion that truly fosters love. In doing so, we create a tapestry of acceptance that not only beautifies our own lives, but enriches the lives of everyone we encounter. In conclusion, I invite you to carry the essence of self-acceptance with you as we move toward our final theme. Let's reflect on how acceptance can serve as the foundation for understanding and compassion, enriching our relationships as we share this human journey together. As we step forward, may we continually remind each other that we are enough, just as we are. It's this deeply rooted acceptance that will allow love to flourish in every facet of our lives. As we approach the final theme of our journey, let's dive into the essence of connection, how the threads of authenticity, empathy, and self-acceptance weave together to create a rich tapestry of relationships. Connection is at the heart of the human experience, a powerful force that binds us, allowing us to share our lives and experiences. Alan Watts beautifully expressed that we are not isolated islands, but interconnected parts of a greater whole. Each drop in the ocean affecting the others, creating ripples that shape our shared reality. Pause for a moment and reflect. What does connection mean to you? Is it found in joyful laughter with friends, in quiet moments of intimacy, or in the warmth of a loved one's embrace? Connections can be a fleeting smile with a stranger or deep conversations with lifelong friends. They blossom not only in shared joys, but also in moments of vulnerability, revealing our authentic selves to one another. Remember a time when you felt truly understood by someone, maybe during a heartfelt conversation over coffee or a long walk together. In those moments, we discover the beauty of being seen and heard for who we genuinely are, with all our quirks and insecurities. These authentic connections remind us of our shared humanity, the realization that we are all in this together, navigating the ups and downs of life side by side. However, nurturing these connections requires intention and a willingness to be vulnerable. It involves taking off the mask we often wear and inviting others to witness our true selves, imperfections and all. When we embrace who we are without pretense, we spark a resonance that encourages others to reveal their true selves, creating a safe space for genuine communication and understanding. Let's consider a scenario. Imagine gathering a few friends and sharing stories of not just successes, but challenges too. How liberating it can feel to admit, I'm struggling with this, or I don't have it all figured out. By showing your authentic self, you're not only inviting closeness, but also encouraging others to express their own struggles, fostering deeper bonds through shared experiences. As we celebrate the beauty of active connection, think about how you can facilitate deeper relationships in your life. Could a simple gesture, a heartfelt note, a genuine compliment, or a moment of undivided attention nurture connection? Making the effort to reach out, to engage fully in conversations, transforms simple interactions into profound connections. Connection is also about vulnerability, and it's important to remember that perfection is not a prerequisite for love. Reflect on your circle of friends and how many of them have seen you at your most authentic, including your flaws and emotions. These relationships thrive on honesty and trust, and it's through embracing our imperfections that we build lasting, meaningful connections. As we conclude this exploration, reflect on these questions. How will you tend to the connections in your life? What will you do to foster authentic dialogues? Every step you take toward true connection not only enriches your life, but also contributes to a more loving and compassionate world. Together, let us remind one another that connection is a continuous journey. Keep exploring, keep sharing, and keep inviting authenticity into every interaction. As we embrace themes of authenticity, empathy, and self-acceptance, we create an environment where love can thrive in all its forms. Thank you for being part of this incredible journey. Let's continue to nurture our connections and allow our lives to blossom in each other's presence.